MacVoices 2024 Holiday Gift Guide number 4, Part 1. This is MacVoices. This edition of MacVoices is supported by Notion AI, the one tool that does it all. Try Notion AI for free at notion.com/MacVoices. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, it's the holiday season. That means it is the MacVoices Gift Guide series of shows that we do every year with our friends. We ask them to come and share some of their ideas for things that they would like to get or maybe will give. That also sometimes includes things that we give ourselves, because who deserves it more? A few highlights here before we get started. First of all, every link we pick will be in the show notes to this episode and directly to the product we pick, not general links, so that it's easy for you to find them. We also have a master list on the MacVoices website under the blog section, so you can always go there and see everything that has been picked. And also, all of our gift picks get flipped into the MacVoices 2024 Holiday Gift Guide magazine that can be accessed on Flipboard, like an old-style catalog, so you can flip through, see the pictures, as well as have the links, or in your favorite RSS reader, or just on the web. So we have a lot of options for you to make sure that you can find what we talk about and hopefully give, get, or whatever for the holiday season. This time around, I'm happy to welcome Patrice Brend'Amour to the gift guide, the series this year, wearing antlers. It seems to be a thing, Patrice. Yeah,
it's a thing if you know me. I always wear antlers for anything special event type thing around Christmas. So holiday parties, podcasts, doesn't matter, anything Christmassy. And I have also a nice little boot mug that I got from a Christmas market in Vienna. So.
Is it true that you wear antlers for other celebrations? No, never mind. I don't want
to know. No comment.
Okay, good. It's probably best for all of us. Also joining us is Pete Harmon. You may know him better as Pilot Pete from the Mac. No, it's no longer Mac Observer's show. It's just the Mac Geek Gab. Pete, good to see you. I keep forgetting. I'm going back in time.
Right? I can't tell you how many times in the last 3 years we've had to start over again, at least a half a dozen times. And welcome to the never mind. Start again.
Yeah. Well, once we learn something, we learn it, right?
Right. It's muscle memory. So Very cool. Well, thrilled to be here, Chuck. Thanks for inviting me back. I guess I didn't offend too many people last year. So
it's great to have you. Thank you. It's great to have you. And I also should mention, you also have a separate podcast that folks might know you from. And There I Was.
Actually, So There I Was.
So There I Was. Excuse me.
That's how all great aviation tales begin. True. They have to be at least 10% true.
Like fishing stories.
Only 10%.
Yeah, exactly. As the retired general who was on our show says, many a good war story is ruined by an eyewitness, but we try to shoot for well beyond 10%. So we've had a lot of fun with it. Yeah. So there I was with my co-host Fig, Chuck Newton, and myself. I go by Repeat on the show, which were our call signs when we flew Harriers together in the Marine Corps back in the 90s. So we had a ball putting that one together. So
good, good. Well, it's great to have you. I've loved to get just even a little bit of a different tech perspective from someone like you. So, if it's okay with you, we'll just keep that order and go through 4 rounds, 1 pick each, and inevitably, everybody comments on everybody else's picks, and we usually end up with more. So, Patrice, that gives you the first pick of this gift guide.
Okay. Let's start easy with a book. So there is a really good author named Craig Alanson. You might have heard of him because I think last year on the MacVoices gift guide I picked actually one of his series, the Expeditionary Force series. But this year I'm picking a different one. So it's an audiobook that you can buy. It's audio only. I think he only writes for audio these days. It's available on Audible. Probably some other places as well. I haven't even checked because I buy it on Audible. It's the Convergence series. So if you know him, you know that he's kind of he always has a very interesting, somewhat funny character in his book. So in this one, it's actually a talking dog. So the whole thing is I want to say a magic story almost. So like fantasy or whatever. It's basically, there's the main character, and he's been on the run for a while. He knows he has he knows he has some magical powers, but not a lot. Seems to be the only magician on Earth, or the only one that's left. And then stuff happens. And I'm not going to give away more that happens, because, I don't want to spoil your book. But it's a really, really good book series. There's 4 books so far. He's the typical thing. I think he's writing about 1 every 6 months or something, so about 2 a year. And if you think about it, he has 2 big book series that he's writing on, so he's doing probably like 4 books a year or something. It's a really interesting series. A good thing to send to someone. It's not very tech heavy, so I think that's good for the people that you might have in your life that just want to have a really fun, entertaining, interesting, challenging story. Plays in the current time, so it's not like far future or like, I don't know, universe far, far away, anything like that. It's for the most part just, today. What happened if there was a person out there today that knew about magic, had magic, and had to save our planet, kind of.
And had a talking dog.
And had a talking dog. That didn't even know how that even happened. It's doesn't know anything about magic. It's all of a sudden it's woke up this morning and now I can talk.
I should mention that if you think you hear ringing or bells or something, it's because Patrice is ringing bells, and so if she shakes her head, there's a little ringing. So no, there it is. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with your speakers. There's nothing wrong at all.
It's part of the holiday cheer, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Careful, it's hunting season.
That's true.
Okay, Pete. Well,
sorry.
That sorry, I was about to say to put a different slant on the antlers. I'm sorry. That
It's funny.
All right, that's an interesting first pick, Patrice.
Very cool. Yeah,
Pete.
Well, all I can say is, if my dog starts talking, don't believe a word she says. She's lying.
Yes. I mean, we all know you don't feed her at all, right?
No,
according to your dog, at least.
Right. Ever. For years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's interesting. Is the book available in Kindle, or is it strictly?
I think it's only available as an audiobook. So because because he literally prefers to write for audiobooks. There might be, let me just check real quick. I think there might be a printed version, but he really, really does write for audio. So it's he even there's been AMAs with him. Yeah, there is a paperback version available if you really want it. But he freely admits it. He writes for audio. He writes for what's the name of the narrator? I always forget. There's a narrator he really works with and has been working with for years. And he really R.C. Bray, that's his name. He really writes for this narrator as well. So they work very closely together to come up with the best audiobook they can.
That's really interesting. The idea of writing just for audio.
Mm-hmm.
I'm intrigued by that, just because I haven't heard that kind of thing for a while. It sort of takes you back to the old style radio days.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah, exactly. I think somewhere in an AMA he even said he's not that great of a writer. He's he's a good storyteller. He's a really good storyteller. The books are really good, but I think for him the audio. allows him to write more to his strengths. It's more about the story and it's not about the word on the page, because R.C. Bray takes that and like turns it into the audio version, and that's kind of where the final product is just much better.
Interesting.
Nice.
Pete, what's your first pick for 2020?
So my first pick this year is very techie oriented. I got it for myself earlier in the year and absolutely loved it. It's the Aluratek wireless car adapter for CarPlay, for Apple CarPlay. So it provides instant Apple CarPlay capability without having to connect your phone to the cable in the vehicle's CarPlay enabled USB port. So your car does have to support CarPlay, but only cabled CarPlay, and now you can go wireless, as many of the new cars are. So it's kind of getting Sherlocked out of existence. But if you've got a car that has CarPlay and you're sick of having to put the cable in every time, or somebody needs to charge their phone, you can still keep your Apple CarPlay going without having to, and allow them to use your charging cable, as it were. But it's $69.99 on sale right now at Best Buy. Give Chuck the link for that. I think I paid $89 for it, so I want my money back, just some of it. But this thing is fantastic. We plug it in, set it and forget it, and I absolutely love using it. It makes it so much nicer to either. Here's the other thing I've like to do is I put my phone in my pocket, so I'm not tempted to do anything with it while driving. So.
It also gets rid of the need, if you have a more modern phone that has a USB-C like port, you still need a USB-C to USB adapter or cable or something usually, because most cars have USB ports, not USB-C ports.
Right.
So takes care of that.
Pete, you may have spent some money there, because I've tried a number of different ones. That one I haven't, and they work flawlessly, except that it seems that when I know this sounds a little nuts, but depending on where I'm driving, we all have those little patterns we drive, right? There's certain places that it's like it grabs a hold of something else and disappears. And so I keep trying them. I use them for 2 months or so, and then just get frustrated and go back to a hard cable. So I'll be very anxious to try this one out.
So far, mine's been okay, knock wood, but I believe you. I have heard other people, we've talked about them on the show, and other people have had different, your mileage may vary, I guess is the way to say it.
Yeah.
I've been happy with it.
I know people that have been happy with some others. And every one I've gotten, I've ended up returning. And again, it's not like they haven't worked. It's just that they haven't worked the way I wanted them to. So we'll see. But great pick. Great pick.
Very cool. And I mean, CarPlay. You just gotta have it. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So my first pick, I'm going to leverage a little bit of a prior pick from the last gift guide. That pick was the A5 Plus audio engine speakers that you see behind me, the white ones. But I've had a couple people ask about this. I really like having the speakers on a stand. It gets them up off the desk, so it's not occupying my desk space. I like having them at least at ear level, if not a little bit higher, to fire down, which is what you see here. And I'm going to give you two different sets of speaker stands because as my setup in back has evolved, so have my need for speaker stands. The first ones, the ones I used to use, were desk mounts. They clamped onto the back of the desk. Those were the Gator frameworks, clamp-on studio monitor and speaker stands that were very affordable. The heights were adjustable to a point, of course, and they were terrific. And then the monitor setup happened back here, and I couldn't get anything that clamped on the desk any longer. So I went with the Pile speaker stands, Play 1 and 3 holder. These telescope from 26 inches up to 52. Both of these models are like heavy duty. These are not, there's no plastic involved. They have pipes. They have the little locking wrench that goes through so that, when you extend them out, it's not like you're tightening anything. There's a physical piece, a metal piece there that projects and protects the speakers from going. They both have stands on the top with lips that can be tilted down just a little bit. These, I love them. It's one of those things where I bought them, I looked at it and thought, that's a little bit of an investment. And I've never looked back because my speakers are just rock solid. I don't have to worry about them falling over. And especially the piles have a big triangular base so that they're not, I mean, you'd have to really bump them hard to tip over. And with these Audio Engine A5s, these also have a little bit of weight to them. So you always want to check the weight specifications on any of these. But both of these choices handle these and more. So I feel like I can recommend them to pretty much anybody with any reasonably sized speaker. That you're gonna love them. So it's just a matter of how you like your speaker placement, how you like the mounts. But they're great. They're great choices no matter which direction you're going to go.
Very cool. I always see the speakers, and I'm like, oh, this looks really cool.
Well, not only does it look cool, Patrice, but I've tried having them here, like on side, but and that just never did feel right. So when I started getting them out here, I'll do it this way, out here and up a little bit, it was terrific. And then the monitors kept getting in the way, so I just raised them up, and I really feel like it enhances the sound. And maybe it's just me patting myself on the back, but I just feel like I've got great sound, that is with me. And I use these, the better part of every day because that's my working spot. So
what you're saying is you're raising the roof.
Well,
there you go.
I've been known to rattle the windows once in a while. Yeah. Today's edition of MacVoices is supported by Notion AI, the one tool that does it all. Try Notion for free at notion.com/MacVoices. So you think you are busy? I'm betting that the guy in the red suit that lives at the North Pole exceeds your problems and mine. Not only does he have to keep track of that large nice list and the even larger naughty list, but he has lots of other uses for Notion. Tracking supply lines and inventory for all those toys, preparing for adverse weather conditions, keeping the reindeer fed and in good condition for the big run, not to mention the HR issues with the elves. He may need Notion more than you do, but you do need Notion. The new Notion AI is a single AI tool that does it all. Search across Notion and other apps, generate docs in your own style, analyze PDFs and images, and chat with you about anything. That has to be better than talking to the elves. Why not take control of all aspects of your business and your team interactions with a tool that does it all without having to switch out to other tools? That's Notion. Right now, you can try Notion for free when you go to notion.com/MacVoices. That's all lowercase letters, notion.com/MacVoices, to try the powerful, easy-to-use Notion AI today. And when you use my link, you're supporting MacVoices. Notion.com/MacVoices. Thanks to Notion for supporting MacVoices. All right. Well, that was a quick first round. So, Patrice, take us into round two.
Okay, I'll pick another thing that I've literally in my living room. So there's been, I think somewhere in the summer, there was a new release of a new Philips Hue light, a pendant light actually. The Philips Hue Ensis, I think. Don't know how to pronounce that. I've never even heard that. But it's a really cool, it's available in black and white, and it's a really cool like pendant light that you can put on top of your kitchen counters or your dining room table, or it's literally where I have them. And the cool thing about that is it's Philips Hue, so it's LED lights. You can fully control them, change the colors. They have two light strips, so there's one going down and there's one going up. So you can control them independently. So you can have, I don't know, purple on top and white on the bottom, or vice versa if you want to. And they're super easy to install. Like it was like really a breeze. Like the hardest part, because we have like this building is all concrete, so getting all those holes in to be able to hang it was the hardest part. Everything else was like took, I don't know, 5-10 minutes to put up. Like I can do the electrical, so that was easy. And then, Philips Hue app, connected, done. So it's just a really good light. They're about, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet, I want to say. Would have to look it up exactly. They're not exactly cheap. So that's maybe the only thing. I think there's black and white, and I think they're about $480 in the US. So they're not exactly the cheapest options you can buy, but they're just really, really good lights, and I have them and I use them all day, and yeah, they just work. 5400 lumen, it says. Technical specifications, whatever that means. Okay. They're pretty bright.
Yeah. Very nice.
I don't know if both of you would agree with this, but I have invested in some Philips Hues. I've invested in some cheaper bulbs and light strips and all, and you get what you pay for.
Yes.
And especially in I think the intensity of the color, the saturation of the color, because I've got a few light strips that are, I mean, look, they were like, $5.99 or something. So they were super cheap and they work. And yes, they're colors, but the colors just aren't very rich. For some reason, notably green. I have terrible experience with green. But if you go
green
to
is
something,
hard. Yes.
Yeah, if you go to something like Philips or most of the Govee stuff, oh shoot, and I'm drawing a blank on some of the others, but
Nanoleaf is another one. Yeah.
Nanoleaf, thank you. That's the one I was going for. You get the really rich colors. So just be aware. You can cheap it out, but the odds are that you're going to get a cheap result, and that might not matter for you. If it doesn't, fine. But
yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah. What's also nice is I didn't mention it. I mean, it's a pendant light, so it's height adjustable. So if you have really high ceilings or really low ones, it doesn't matter because you can literally adjust it to the height you want. Like what's the distance to your table? Is your dining room table low or not? Like kitchen counter a little bit higher and stuff like that. It's super adjustable. So it's also, you can change it. Like you could even, like if you at a later point decide it's like, oh, I don't like that height for some reason. I thought it was working and it's not. Just open up the little box, get a ladder, open up the box, 2 screws, pull it up or push it down, whatever you want, and then screw it back in and you're done. So it's super easy to adjust. I really like that.
Well, that's cool. And I'm going to need some lights. We moved this summer and our basement is unfinished and we can't have that. I have to change it to a home theater. So I'll be needing some lights for that. And that sounds like a really nice option. And thinking that, the Philips Hue lights, my wife sold our daughter's bedroom furniture to include a Philips Hue light bulb in her floor lamp. I'm like, get it back. Get it back. Still haven't gotten it back. I'm like, that's a $50 light bulb. Oh, well. They probably don't even know what they have.
No.
Yeah, probably worth more than the bed.
Right?
Probably.
Exactly.
So Pete, is your project, your basement project, going to inform any of your gift picks, or are we just going to help you fill your basement? Can Patrice?
We're going to fill the basement. Yeah, then so I can even move more stuff around before I try to build, because we went from an attic and a basement to about half the size of the basement and no attic. So we're thinning out. We're thinning out a lot right now. Still, 4 months later. Oh well. But my next pick is admittedly, I'm a very difficult person to buy a gift for, as my wife complains. If you want it, you just buy it for yourself. Yes, I do. So my Father's Day gift this year was a bit of a surprise and really unexpected. But my daughter, who's 21, said, "Dad, you need better fashion sense. Quit wearing dad. You need to look cooler, Dad." All right. So, and then she handed me the gift, and I opened them up, and I pulled one off. I'm wearing them now. These are Hey Dude shoes.
Those are cool.
And they are at heydude.com. They have multiple styles. I don't think this thing weighs 3 ounces, but I have hiked.
They look really cool.
countless miles. We took she finally got her graduation trip that was not given to her because of COVID. So she got her trip this summer, and we went on a cruise and did a lot of walking every day, miles and miles and miles. I probably did 8 to 10 miles a day in these shoes, and never once did I go, oh man, my dogs are killing me. These are the most comfortable, lightweight. They don't look like much in the sense of, oh, that's a good walking shoe. And their entire line up, I don't think I see anything on their site right now that's over $100, but some are down in the $49, $59 range. So so these shoes are super lightweight, uber comfortable, and
they look great.
And they aren't dad shoes; they're stylish.
Yes, she is absolutely right.
So I absolutely love my Hey Dudes, and she says everybody's wearing them as their business casual shoe at her university. So, yeah,
I can totally see that. Yeah, it works, and I mean it's really cool to see that they're like long lasting. I mean, if you can walk like 8 to 10 miles a day for like a long time, and they don't fall apart, that's a good shoe.
Yes.
Well, I'm looking at it. I mean, they have not just the very extra casual style that you just showed, Pete, but they have a number of others that I mean they're not quite dress shoes, but they're dressier, if that's your thing. Right. But if they're all that comfortable, that's really tempting.
And boots, and they have in sale right now on almost everything. They said use the code CYBER. It says on their website. But comes right, they've got boots and sneaker looking things, and then casual, business casual, men's, women's, children's. It's a full lineup. Yeah,
that's. They have one with the Coca-Cola logo on it. Wonder what they pay. Wonder what they pay for that.
Yeah. Well, wait, are they going to pay me to advertise their product? No. Probably not.
No. Well, and there's also, there's also a Diet Coke shoe.
Of course.
Not just a regular
really?
Coke, but also.
Oh my God.
I'm scrolling because I want to see now if we have a Coke Zero shoe, but I'm not sure there is.
That one you're buying? Okay.
Okay. Interesting pick, Pete. Yeah, some of these
very interesting.
There's a U.S. Navy one. There's a U.S. Navy. I'm intrigued by the idea that they've partnered with some folks to brand them.
Right.
That's really interesting. So my second round pick, I'm going to go. We're all still playing. We're all still bringing things online on our smart homes, and I think some of us. I'm trying to standardize on the Apple's Assistant. We're going to try to avoid saying names so we don't trigger anything. But there still are times that I want options for Amazon's Assistant. I have no interest in Google's Assistant, nothing personal. Because it's Google, not so sure. So I like the Casa Smart Plug Mini 15As for a couple reasons. First of all, they work with all three assistants. Second, somebody actually did a little engineering of these things, and you can put one in the top outlet, one in the bottom outlet, and not be fighting with them or trying. It's not one of those that's so large that it blocks half of the other outlet, and then it becomes useless. Very easy to set up. I've had some really great luck with these, and in fact, to the point that I can say I really haven't had any problems once they're set up, being addressable. So, and they're at this time of year, they usually, I was just trying to see right now, Amazon is listing them on a Black Friday deal for $30 for 4 of them. So at that price, you can add smartness, intelligence to pretty much anything that you want, and not have it be obnoxiously expensive and not be taking up outlets. So those are the CASAs, K-A-S-A Smart Plug Mini 15A.
Nice.
So
can never have enough smart plugs. Never.
Yeah. Yes. Borderline stocking stuffers at $4 for $30.
Yeah, at that price, yeah.
Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CashFly at cashfly.com.